We're here with Tina Thompson, WNBA Hall of Famer, 17 years in the WNBA, 4 championships with the Houston Comets, 2 gold medals, college coach, so much more. But I'm excited that you're here with us today to really dive deep into Meet the Athlete. Yolanda and Dorcas, thank you guys so much for being here. It's a true pleasure to have you guys here to kind of give us a deep dive into what AFP looks like.
Thank you for having us. Super excited to be here. My name is Dorcas, and I'm the marketing manager for the Amazon Freight Partner. And there I help support a couple things. First is just acquisition, so bringing great partners like Christina into the program. And then once we bring in our AFPs, I help them hire great drivers, which is she's shared the key part of her employee base. And then my team also develops all the cool creative content that we use in our acquisition campaigns, within our program, and all of the activations to help keep the programs engaged in AFP, knowledgeable, informed, and just having fun in the work.
I love that. And Yolanda, can you give us a little bit of kind of what you do and what you're
Sure, sure. So I am a senior business coach within the Amazon Freight Partner program, and I currently manage 20 entrepreneurs who are in the program, and they're based in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And my main role is to assist and guide them as they build and grow their business. My biggest objective is to work right alongside the AFPs and help them think about their business strategy and their business planning. But it's also to help them with all of the compliance and program policies that we have within Amazon.
I think it's important that, we have individuals that have a deep dive understanding, because talking to Christina, we saw a level of excitement that we hadn't seen. And talking to Tina before you guys got here, she was very, very interested in this business, but then came into a lot of hurdles, right? And it kind of derailed her from thinking about getting her trucks. And there's a lot of things that you don't know as a former athlete jumping into this business, but what it sounds like through Christina and her pure, authentic smile on her face is that there's been a lot of help along the way. There's a lot of work along the way, which has been the mantra of the day. But speaking to that, can you guys give us a little bit more insight of kind of what the onboarding process truly looks like for you guys? How do you vet who you guys put into the program? What does that look like? And what are you guys looking for when you think about this?
Yeah, I can talk a lot about the vetting process, and I'll pass it over to Yolanda, who can talk about onboarding. So what we look for, it's not necessarily industry experience, because we believe you can learn from anywhere. With athletes specifically, we look for like the grit, the discipline, the coachability, we think is all transferable to Amazon Freight Partner. What we really look for is people leadership, because your primary role is managing your team and helping them deliver results. So that's number one. Also, just some basic financial acumen, understanding how balance sheets work to manage your business. And then just that motivation, that grit, willingness to learn and get in and do the work. And once you're identified, we have an accelerator program, which is a 12-week training program to help you learn those fundamentals, not only about the industry, but also about just the financial, what it takes to manage a business. Especially within trucking, as you might have learned, it's very complicated, like compliance from a regulation perspective. And so we help you learn all of those things and help you do the things you need to set up your business from there.
Dorcas, can you just, explain or educate us on why this program and the type of talent that you guys are looking for, especially women in a male-dominated industry and also women of color? Like, how did that fit into the why?
Definitely. Our why is, how do we help Amazon deliver the customer promise, which a lot of packages very fast. We need carriers to help do that. And so how do we do that while supporting small businesses, so helping small businesses to develop and thrive within the space? So in that work, we intentionally looked at how do we be more inclusive in our marketing efforts. That when you learn about AFP, you see people who look like you and have backgrounds like you, and you can see, I like to say, authentically aspirational. People who are actually in the program doing well, and also create an aspirational picture for what you might be. And I think that's important, because without that, it's difficult to see yourself in that position and think it's something for me. So whether it's in our marketing, also in our application, all of our conversation process, it's recognizing that all AFPs won't look alike. They won't necessarily come from the same background, but they do have that willingness to learn, willingness to work, and then willingness to grow. And so, of course, like for Black women specifically, that's a demographic I obviously have a personal passion point. And then within the demographic space, there's an opportunity across both gender as well as ethnicity, race. We look even beyond that to veteran status, ability levels, to help make sure everyone has an equitable opportunity to be in and then succeed at the program.
And so then from there, Dorcas, you throw it to Yolanda. And when you onboard and do all this, how do you, your role comes in,
Sure.
obviously. Yeah.
Sure. So after a partner such as Christina, who you guys met, has made it into the program, and they are assigned a business coach such as myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to say we're kind of, one part coach, but also one part counselor and therapist, because as Christina mentioned, this is hard work and you are going to be hands-on. You're going to be on the ground working with your team. So as a business coach, my responsibility is to drive that accountability that's needed, work with them on any of their financial and economic goals that they have, also to ensure that they stay compliant within Amazon's needs, but also on the DOT side. So we want the AFPs to be the most compliant trucking companies out there. So I have this acronym, ABH, always be hiring.
Always be hiring.
Always
Yes.
be hiring.
Yeah.
So we work with the partners, and the best part of my job is when I get to grow the partners. So we launch them with 3 tractors. And ultimately, we'd love to see them grow to 15 or 20 or whatever that capacity ultimately ends up.
So interesting for me, just a personal question to you. It's just like, where did you learn all of this? Like you seem like you had a trucking background, like you know what I mean? Like, so, did you teach yourself this, or was this the role that you dove deep into? I'm very interested into kind of how you became so well-versed at leading, the trucking industry right now.
Sure. So it's a combination of everything you said. So I actually joined Amazon in 2022. So I have not actually been in this space that long, but you do learn as you go. And you don't need a trucking background to succeed in this business. And I didn't necessarily need a trucking background to understand how to manage leaders and to encourage and to coach. I can learn kind of all the tactical things, just like a partner is going to learn. But once you have that, as a business coach, you need to be a mentor. You need to be a leader as well. And so that just comes inherently from all the other experiences that I've had within corporate America before I came to Amazon.
Oh, wow. I mean, the way you guys are talking about this, it seems so easy. I've had, no, seriously, because, similar to what Tina said, I have some friends that, have owned trucks, and then they went into the problem of there was no loads. There's no, and you're buying, these expensive vehicles, and then you can't put them on the road. And so, what you guys have seen to, obviously Amazon being the pusher, a tremendous amount of success, right? And there's this level of success. And so one of the things that was exciting about Christina was knowing that though she was started in 2022, she's only been in business a year, has 15 trucks. What does success look like? What's a range of a number, your business can kind of scale to at one point or another?
There are lots of variables that go into that. So I'll say a couple things. The one thing that the AFPs, I think, own when it's related to growth is their performance. And the first most important layer of performance is safety. Like, are your drivers and you able to execute the loads that you have at a safe level? And that's not only safety to protect your drivers. We want everyone to come home at the end of the day. And also, we are key players in a broader community, and we want to keep everyone safe there too. Yeah. So if you're able to deliver safe performance, which is really on-time delivery, those types of things, that's what makes you, what Yolanda said, eligible for growth. The thing that needs to match up there is demand within the location. You mentioned like finding work. That's one of the benefits of the AFP program. The AFPs don't have to invest in finding the work like Amazon has that. Sure. That's kind of reliable, but it's not necessarily where you are. So making sure that matching that demand to where the AFPs are performing well is how you ultimately grow.
Very, very cool. And the reason why I ask is when you're attracting athletes that have earned a lot of money, some have and some haven't, they're going to be excited about, entrepreneurship and, being their own boss and, coming to run something, but they're also looking to kind of either maintain their lifestyle or kind of build something. And so that was the real reason behind the question, because we want to, make sure that we're attracting the right people, and giving people a hope that, this is the best opportunity for them, and versus going to start it by themselves. You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
But what I can tell you, though not real specifically the number of trucks, is just kind of ranges in terms of revenue and like profit.
Mm-hmm.
So typically our AFPs start, and this is if you're thinking about between 5 to 10 tractors,
Mm-hmm.
they're generating between $1.5 and $3.5 million in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And that typically comes out to between $100,000 and $300,000 in profit every year.
Nice.
And of course, that depends upon how you manage your business. And then, of course, like your growth potential. That might change based upon where you're located, how your performance, and those things.
For sure. Do you guys set the rate for the drivers, or is that personal? You can pay your drivers whatever you...
So the owners, the entrepreneurs, are the owners of their own companies.
Mm-hmm.
And those drivers that they hire are their employees. They
Got
are
it.
not Amazon employees. We do not set their rates.
Mm-hmm.
We have some minimum standards that
Mhm.
are out there, but each AFP sets their own pay rates for their drivers.
Got it.
So we require that AFPs hire their drivers as W-2 employees, so that they have that longer term stability, guaranteed income, and offer PTO, healthcare benefits, those things that are typically atypical in the driver space, even hourly wage, where typically drivers get paid by the mile.
Mhm.
So all those things are designed to make transportation a better place to work as a driver and an owner.
Yeah. So you guys, this may be a stupid question, but you guys say tractor. So what does that mean? Because I'm from Texas. You live in Texas. And I think about a tractor. I actually think about a real tractor on the field, moving some hay, moving some stuff around.
That is
So I think I understand, but I want to be very clear what a tractor looks like,
So I am also from Texas. So
Okay,
I get it. I get it. And my dad was a country boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before I came here, I would have said truck as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
So when you think about the tractor, that is the unit that is in the front of what you think of as a truck.
Mm-hmm.
Those tractors then hook up trailers, they hook
Got
up
it.
intermodal containers to them, and then you have that full, what you think of as a truck.
Okay.
But what we allocate to the partners is that engine,
Got
is
it.
that tractor. And when you think about that, just as you mentioned, that is the most expensive part about being in the trucking business. But the amazing part about the AFP program is that if you are the best of the best and you do end up getting into the program, then we provide those assets. So you are not making that capital investment. We're making that capital investment.
That's great. I'm ready. I mean, I think me and Tina already decided that we're in. So if you guys can accelerate us to the level, I mean, you don't have to ask me twice. I'm already in. No problem. Like we in?
We're in.
We in. So
It's
yeah.
it's the infrastructure that makes it so inviting because, like Boss and I, we talked about earlier, was that the most difficult part for me was trusting the information that I was getting so that I could build an infrastructure. But it almost became expensive just to find the information. So before you're even talking about trucks and things like that, people that were already in the industry is like, this information costs, just to educate you, to allow you, or they were bringing you in.
Everybody becomes a consultant.
Yeah, under them. So as much as you are doing all this work, you're not necessarily benefiting until you get to a point that they've released enough information for you to be educated and then be able to venture out on your own. So the work itself is not the part that's easy, but the foundation and the ability to have stability as you're building the process, it seems like that's what Amazon is doing to allow you to start, to successfully start. And how you go from there is based on the amount of work that you put into it and how you foresee yourself growing. So that's the part that's so exciting for me, because trying to start on my own, that was the most difficult part, just having a true understanding, how you build and how you grow, but then also trusting the information. I would talk to one person and then there would be some variation in the information that I got from the person that I spoke before that. And then when you have the next conversation, it's a combination of both, but not exactly the same. but the common denominator was whoever was giving you the information was benefiting, no matter how much information that they gave you. And it didn't necessarily mean that you were. So that's, for me, the exciting part about possibly becoming a Amazon freight partner is that the education, the infrastructure, and the support, like more than anything.
And as you guys know, this is Meet the Athlete. And a lot of times what we've talked about earlier is trust. Having, everybody typically, when you're at the top of your game, if you made it to the professional level, you see a lot of people, right? Because of not only your status, but your financial status. And so trust is a key component to what this is. And so it's talking about information. When you can just provide trusted information that is unwavering, you build, right? And so really wanting to echo everything that we talked about today is really so many athletes don't trust. Because, they're for rightful reasons. And so as you guys sit here, you're giving a trust to the individuals that are going to look at this, or Tina or myself, to say, this is a program that we should probably really consider, right? And so that's what's exciting.
Yeah. And I think Amazon is definitely a trusted partner in terms of the work and in terms of the industry. And also, I recognize that the program is changing. It's growing. One of the things that Amazon does constantly is innovate. And as a partner, we get to innovate together. So if an AFP comes into the program, things are going to change. We're going to change based upon your feedback, based upon your ideas, based upon what's not working and what is working. So that definitely is part of the program.
Can you guys tie in? Can you tell me about Adam Riggs, MLB player, kind of how that's been? Yeah.
Yeah. So Adam Riggs is an Amazon freight partner in the Houston domicile.
Okay.
So I actually manage Houston, as I mentioned. And so Adam is one of my AFPs. Adam joined the program actually before I joined Amazon.
Okay.
But Adam joined the program with no trucking experience whatsoever. And he went through the program the training program that Dorcas mentioned, our accelerator program. Okay. So he learned everything about the AFP program prior to launching through that accelerator training class. And then once he came in, he was a performer. He met the safety metrics. He met the on-time metrics. He met the acceptance metrics. And that enabled him to grow. And he's actually one of our largest partners in the Houston domicile right now. So the learning is constant, and it's got to be constant because at Amazon, it's going to change in the next quarter. I promise you.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, listen, to hear people have success in a business that is not, common to us is super, super impressive and something very appetizing. And so being from Houston, she lives in Houston. Yeah, we should have a conversation. I'm putting myself in on her stuff already. I'm like, I'm in. Just put me in. But so how would you go about getting started in a program like this, Dorcas, if you can share some insight?
Yeah. So the first thing I would direct you to is our landing page. It's where you can find all the information. And I'm sure the URL is below, but I'll also tell you, freightpartner.amazon.com. There you can learn more about the program and also request more information. And if there's an opportunity within your physical location, you'll move forward with the application process. If not, you'll get put on a waiting list, and that will pose you for further communication once the spot does open up. The process, just to summarize, an application, basic information about yourself, then a virtual interview, then a submission of a business plan, how you would operate your business, different things you'll think about. And then if you make it to the next step, it's multiple interview loops with different members of the Amazon team that would then decide whether or not you are inclined for the opportunity. If you are, most likely you'll go on a bench, similar to sports. So you'll wait on the bench until there is a need in your geography, and then we will notify you. But while you're on the bench, you're not just waiting. You're also more training, like Yolanda mentioned, and then just making sure you know what it's going to take to launch, have all the information you'll need so that you're ready to play when you're called in.
Love that.
Can either one of you educate us on just the start process? When we were talking to Christina, she mentioned a little bit about being in Seattle and just the opportunity being a lot different than being in bigger cities or, where the demand is a little higher. Like, how does that start? Do you become educated first in just the business in general? Do you first become educated on building your team so that then you're able to educate them? So can you just enlighten us a little bit about just how the process works?
Sure. So At Amazon, we have this mantra that every day is day one. So I'm going to tell you every day is going to be a day one and you're going to be learning. But from an AFP perspective, when we launch you with a certain number of tractors. The expectation is, because you've gone through all the training, you're launching this business. It's just you, theoretically, initially. And maybe you do hire a dispatching company so that you get some sleep. But you don't really build your team until you understand all facets of the business. And then through growth, once you've grown and the economics support that, that's when partners start bringing in and growing their team and adding an operations manager, or maybe adding someone who's going to coach the drivers on safety instead of it being you. Because initially, let me tell you, it's going to be you. You are going to be the coach in every aspect of this business.
And as far as geography is concerned, so when you first submit your request for information, you put in your zip code and you're matched to opportunities based upon that zip code. So when you are selected to launch, it's because we have demand in that zip code. And so especially at launch, you're expected to be in that location, not only for the training, but for the hiring, the recruiting on ground. As AFP, you're expected to be able to understand the details of the operation, what the maintenance task is. You might not need to know how to do it, but you need to understand it and be able to challenge your maintenance team or your drivers if they aren't doing it right. So the expectation is that you are hands-on with that operation.
This might be an out-of-the-box question, but as an Amazon Prime member, does like the demand or like the ability to fulfill the demand change like in the delivery process? Because I've noticed in my area that like I used to be able to get like deliveries so quickly and at a certain time. And now they've gone to like 2 days or like 3 days, when before it was like next day delivery. So when the delivery time changes like that, does that mean that there's a necessity for like more AFP or just freight in that area? Or is it just like where the supply itself is coming from?
That's a good
That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a good question. There are actually two different Amazon programs.
Yeah.
Okay. So like what we call our sister program, what we were modeled after is the delivery service partner. So they manage the delivery time, the ability to deliver 1 day, same day, those packages. What Amazon Freight manages is what Amazon calls the middle mile. So it's moving the freight in between warehouses.
Is there anything else you guys would like to share for the people to know about AFP? Or I know we're excited about it. I know, we really want to have a real conversation, all jokes aside. But if there's anything else you guys feel like the people need to know about AFP, Amazon Freight Program, please feel free to do so now. You guys have been absolutely amazing. There's a lot of learning. I think there's a lot of opportunity. And I'm excited to just kind of really learn more about all the other people that have had success and kind of what you guys are doing, and more ways that we can continue to build and educate and inform individuals to build a trusted source of opportunity outside of the game and or whatever you're doing, with the game of life in itself. But athletes particularly, because this is about athletes, and share as much as you feel like people need to know.
Yeah, I would say one, thank you for this opportunity. I think this is a great space. One of the things I'm most excited about the program is our willingness to try new things. This program is a new idea. Reaching out to athletes as an audience is a new idea. We found success in it, and I think that breeds more success. And just the opportunities to might we be more inclusive and bring different people into the space across all the different layers we talked about. And I think this is just a new opportunity for us to do that, and to continue to think about like what's the next generation of newness that we.
And I think I want to stress the same way that we look for elite athletes. If you listen to how Dorcas described the process to get in here, our Amazon Freight partners are the elite owners. It is not easy to get in here, but if you make it through the process, you are kind of the best of the best. And so, I mean, what better way to test that market also with athletes, right?
Yeah. Well, I love everything you guys said. I think there's an opportunity too on the content side. I'm gonna just say it. I think we can make some engaging, fun content around kind of what you guys are building to get people excited. That's the business I'm in too. But no, partnership for sure. But no, I found it very, very interesting that we were talking to Tina, and then you guys were here, and her just who she is and what she was interested in, and this aligning with exactly what she was interested in before. And so excited to kind of see what comes to life from this.
Serendipity.
Yeah, truly.
Yes,
yeah.
that's how the universe works, brings it together.
That's
Yeah.
Like you
right.
mentioned, we've been working with sports, the NFL specifically, the MLB, we have former NBA alumni as well, where we were like, how do we expand? How do we think about WNBA, which of course is like top of the news now, and of course with the gender work that we've been doing in general, this is a way to just reach so many important audiences.
Yeah.
Perfect synergy.
Well, thank you, ladies, both, Yolanda and Dorcas, for being here. And obviously, Tina, thank you. And I'm looking forward to more, truly. This has been a
Likewise.
blessing.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for being on. Yeah.
And presenting such a great opportunity. I just see a future for so many more female athletes to just kind of expand
Absolutely.
like outside of the sport, which I think is necessary, not just because like of gender equity and pay and compensation, but just the opportunity to be more. I love that.
In a very non-traditional world
Yes, ma'am.
that we're in, trucking.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you guys more than you know. Thank you so much for
Yes.
being partners to us and sharing this information, and really looking forward to seeing how we can do some things together.